All right, guys, we've got a quick transformation of this 50-acre unit. We're going to tell you how it went down here on this week's Land Beat. All right, guys, we are on location at the Proving Grounds in Southwest Missouri. This property has had a lot of work done to it in the last 15 years, but we're ramping up the intensity and really getting into the timber with the recommendations and the new landowner. So I want to walk you through this unit, what has transpired in just a short amount of time. March 2024 was consultation date. Adam and I were here working with the landowner, educating him, putting together that big comprehensive management plan, and then soon to follow that, TSI crews rolled in to begin the first phase of implementation. The size of this property, it's going to take many years to get through it in a methodical and strategic way to address all the needs of the timber based on the plan that we put together. So in late May, early June of 2024, the TSI crew completed this specific unit. Now, they were instructed to complete a medium TSI, medium thinning of the canopy. Essentially what that looks like for us is a 40 to 50% reduction of the canopy. The canopy being mid-story and overstory trees. And now you can kind of see back behind me, yeah, that definitely took place as you're seeing a lot of sky. Now, of course, we don't have full leaf out of the forest yet. It's just the early stages. However, there's a lot of blue sky back behind me and a lot of lateral or transient sunlight. Now that the mid-story is gone, that's going to be shining through this unit throughout most of the growing season itself, even once we have leaf out of the remaining overstory trees. And certainly there still is mid-story trees present in the forest itself. Now, we got a 40 to 50% reduction, but what's most important here I want to highlight is the techniques that were utilized and prescribed in this particular unit. We had a pretty intense amount of eastern red cedar in the mid-story, and so with that we knew we were going to have to fell that, but we don't want too much debris on the ground for excessive time frames. So in the prescription to the TSI crew, we said, hey, we would like to see in that 40 to 50% reduction, 70% of it come via hack and squirt or girdle and spray, killing some trees standing, but then 30%, plus or minus a little bit here and there, was going to be direct fell, just so we could mitigate how much debris was on the ground. And so that took place in May or June of 2024. Now, flash forward to late March of 2025, we have a crew come in and complete a prescribed fire on this exact same unit. So we addressed the overstory trees and the mid-story trees through TSI, opened up the canopy, and then had the first prescribed fire essentially year to date of that initial consultation. And now we're about a month or so post fire and starting to see the benefit of all that work that was completed. And so I want you to really take away from this video is if you tackle things in a strategic, methodical way, you can transform what was closed canopy timber with a heavy mid-story of cedar and a heavy overstory where very little sunlight was getting through. You can turn that into extremely productive timber with a lot of new fresh vegetation coming back and different structural loads in the understory itself. And by following up with a prescribed fire very quickly after doing that TSI, you can see that we've got plenty of mobility. Even though we reduced the timber by 40 to 50%, plenty of mobility for a wild turkey to move through here. What we actually have is pretty incredible nesting opportunities and brooding opportunities this year in this unit. We've got plenty of structure for a hen to lay a nest in, as well as for a fawn to lay in and against, especially as this new vegetation coming on begins to and continues to grow and fill in this understory. I'm really excited about this unit, if you can't tell, because I knew many years ago this thing and this particular ridge system itself had a lot of potential, but it was stifled because of not only the tree species growing on here, but the composition and the overstocking of the forest itself. So we've changed that dramatically, all within about a year's time frame, and not only is the landowner going to benefit from this, but as to the wildlife that call this ridge system home, I would love to hear in the comments below what you think of this. Does it look like a mess to you? Does it look like heaven on earth? Let us know in the comments, and I hope that you can see the wildlife value and the quick turnaround transformation, as we want to encourage and inspire you guys to do the same stuff on your property. So let us know in the comments below what you think, and if you're ready and willing to do the hard work and put in the labor to benefit your hunting. All right, guys, so the other really cool thing that, as we're talking about the structural differences, I mean, look at this stump sprout right here. It's coming back already. But the structural differences that are in here now post TSI and post fire with some of that debris on the ground, that's a huge positive. We got new vegetation coming in here. But not only did we get and accomplish that through timber stand improvement as well as prescribed fire, but we've also freed up many of the oaks, left those standing, as you can tell by the red oak right here. And we've freed up around its crown quite a bit. There's a a white oak right down the slope as well. And through dropping of the trees and then some girdling in around this unit, we've got a lot more sunlight. And therefore, if we have more sunlight, we've got more root space, and we've got more freedom and room for the oaks to actually grow, improve their canopies, and produce more mast in this unit. So there's really not a time frame and or resource in here, whether it's understory vegetation or the hard mast that this oak stand can produce. We've improved it through those measures. And so if we had left it unmanaged though, we would have had continued competition of the overstory with elm, hackberry, too many hickories, the eastern red cedar, all competing for sunlight, that the oaks would have been likely poor or at least not at full capacity in their production. Now we've given them the space, but yet we've produced an understory in here that I'm jazzed up about. And again, we're showing this to you guys early in the growing season. So just come back in July, August timeframe, and this is going to look totally different and still be providing a lot of benefit. So the best is yet to come from the growth here, but this stage of transformation, what I'm seeing, I'm really liking. Golly, got me.